Okay. And let me get the backlights here. Now it's a little better. Okay. All right. Hold on. Why is this? That should be speakers. There we go. Oh, okay. Yeah, I got new headphones. New headphones looking a lot better than these fucked up things. I'll still keep these as a backup, though. Never know. Okay, then. Fuck me. Okay. So. Where were Ravis? Right. I do need to do this.
Dalar is attempting to locate the source of the wizard's spellcasting. For now, we'll have to slow their progress in any way we can. The conjurers, mages, and protectors are no doubt carrying the pendants. Remove and retrieve them. Take the main road south and the eastern fork into Ambermill.
Into Ambermill, okay. And that... There we go, fix the mic. And then... what else is at Ambermill? Should be something. No? No, I thought it was the crate. No. I got the crate. Okay. Now I do have mail. What we got? Shit from my other characters. Mostly. Good. Auction successful. Auctions failed. Ooh. Ooh. 5 gold. Almost 6. Nice. Okay. In the meantime... No, it's not going to show. If I tried to have it show... It's going to show up like that for fucking some reason right now. And then put it up here in the corner. Can I? Can I do it without it going all fucking laggy for some reason? Let's see.
Wow.
Radio.
Fuck me. Get the mixer here real quick. There we go. Put that over there. Okay. See if this causes... Yeah, it's causing that to be laggy
Nothing
for some
of
reason.
value to say. Kind of sums up the show, really.
So I
This is
can't have
Please
that
here on
there.
Wow Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. Welcome back. You didn't really go anywhere, but welcome back anyway. Right. Okay. Let's get the real life stuff out of the way first. What's been going on with me? Who cares? Nobody. Fantastic. That's why I'm going to tell you anyway, just to annoy you. Yeah, so I've been working in game for the past week. That's quite fun. Certainly better than my last job, which consisted of me sitting there typing out boring judges' reports on why some poor soul couldn't get into the UK. Ugh, immigration for the lose. Yeah, so working game, and the few things I've discovered while working in game are as follows. The 50-cent game is rubbish. Not enough people like X3, and never, ever, ever ask me what World of Warcraft is all about, because you will be in the shop for hours.
Linen cloth real quick.
It happened, folks. Yes, indeed, and he did walk out with a copy of WoW.
smoke.
I told them to roll Druid. Was that cruel and bad of me? We shall see. Yeah, alright, okay. Next up is an apology. There's going to be no blue please next week. Why is there going to be no blue please next week? Because I am going to get on a plane and I'm going to go and see a girl. Why would I do that? Because I want to. And I feel like it. And when you find a girl that's worth getting on a large metal tube with wings that quite frankly should not be in the sky at all, and flying to a foreign country just specifically to see her, then, well, radio shows kind of go out the window. So, no blue please next week, sorry, and all that bollocks. Right, okay, let's get on to show topics for the day. You know exactly what's come out this week, or the details of
No, they don't.
match
Straight up
1.9.
headphones. Okay.
So, most of the
Comfy,
show
though.
today will be concerned with that.
They fit my big ass ears.
What shall I tackle first? Let's have a look.
Chinese,
Okay, right,
though.
Gates of Anchorage. We already pretty much know what Anchorage is going to be about. It's going to be 2 dungeons, a 20-man and a 40-man. 20-man must be done before the 40-man. The 20-man apparently is going to be slightly easier than Zul'Gurub, with the 40-man being on the level slightly more difficult than Blackwing Lair. Not only that, but we've seen some of the loot coming out of there so far, and it's looking rather impressive. Right, there's a couple of things I'd like to highlight about the loot in Anchorage before I get onto some other things that I could probably
Nope, leave that open.
spend more time talking about. Right, okay, first things first. What I noticed about the loot in Anchorage, especially the caster-orientated loot, is that they're bringing in something rather interesting.
Enough for now.
Something that I've been asking for personally for a while,
Do the rest
and
soon.
that's the idea of caster procs. What is a caster proc? What is a proc to start with? For those who don't know, a proc is an effect on a weapon, which has a chance of happening every time you swing that weapon.
Just here?
So if you had Crusader and it procced, it would give you the bonus strength. If you had Fire Enchant and it procced, it would do a small amount of fire damage to the target. What's a caster proc? A caster proc is a proc which procs. A proc which procs. A proc which procs is a proc procs. How much proc could a proc proc if a proc could proc? Okay, now I'm confused. Procs, yes. Caster procs. Procs off a spell. What kind of thing am I talking about? Well, they already existed in a very, very minute amount in the game before. If you notice, one of the quest rewards from the level 50 mage quest is a dagger.
Hey.
It's rubbish, but it does have a proc, a chance on cast of reducing your next ice bolt by 50 mana. It exists. Now we're getting more of them. There are several things coming out. Don Rodrigo's band would be a good example. That's going to give you a chance on cast of reducing the target's resistance to spells.
I'm dreading
And there is
Hillsborough.
also a staff in Anchorage, which is going to be doing
God,
the
I'm
same on
dreading
a
it.
bigger scale. Reduce the resistances. Interesting idea. What would the effect of that be? As it says on the tin. You reduce the resistances, you reduce the chance of resistance. However, in the current resistance system, if you take resistances down to a negative level, you will gain extra
Right,
damage.
protectors.
In a way,
Yes.
it's partly responsible for the 4,500k crits that you see certain builds of Warlocks getting every now and again. Shadow Bolt, 4,500. How did that happen? A combination of various things, including negative resistance.
Need to get closer.
Now, here's what really confuses me. Now, I know for a fact that Blizzard were claiming that they were going to change resistances.
Oh my god, they changed my
How?
fucking...
And how does this particular item and this
do
whole
they
idea
keep
of
doing
caster
this?
procs reducing resistances actually fit in with their whole new strategy on resistances? Do we even know what they're going to do with resistances? The short answer to that is pretty much no. From what we've heard, it would be reasonable to assume that resistances are going to be changed in a more linear fashion than they are right now. Let's face it. If a target has negative resistance, or a target has positive resistance, the current
they
effects
didn't
are
change
rather
it?
random.
Huh?
Those of you
Why
who
didn't
play
it
fire
attack me?
mages will be well aware. If you go up against molten core
I thought they
equipped
reset
people,
my shit for some
that
reason.
resistances can be a very unpleasant thing to see. Now, resistances include effects like, well, okay, I'm blasting away at
Okay,
some
guess not.
wrath equipped warrior, and he's got some fire resist gear. So I'm blasting away. Fireball, fireball, fireball. Oh, most of my damage has just vanished on the third fireball for no apparent reason. Now, it's not a linear decrease in damage. if I were to fire a fireball and you had 50 resistance up, every single time that fireball hit, it wouldn't resist 50 damage. No, it would be random. Maybe I wouldn't resist at all. I'd get no resistance for hours, and then suddenly my pyroblast hits for 2, with 2,000 resisted. It's a wee bit odd. But that's simply the way it works. An oversimplified and possibly inaccurate description of it, but that is the basic gist. So what's going to happen? Very good question. What is going to happen to resistances? Especially with this new proc in it. What's going to happen? I don't know. Why would I know? But it will be interesting to see. Now, if you notice in the patch notes, there is, as far as I can see, nothing about resistances. I will do a quick search just to check that I'm not wrong. Okay. Now, there's been a change to Warlocks. Note this. Curse of Shadows and Curse of Elements. These curses can no longer cause resistance to become negative. To compensate, both curses now increase the damage taken from the appropriate schools by a percentage. Now, here's the weird thing. Okay. They've done that. But there's nothing else in the patch notes about resistances. How odd. So, is it a case of they're not going to change the system, or are they simply going to change the things which affect the system in a more negative way? I.e., stuff like Curse of Shadows, Curse of Elements. Is that what's going to be happening with the new caster procs? Are they going to work in the same way? So if I were to have my Staff of Uberness proc, and it reduces your resistance by 60, yet you only have 50 in the first place, I cannot reduce your resistance to minus 45. However, would damage increase? Or is this just on Curse of Shadows and Curse of Elements? A little bit hazy there. I'm not sure what's going on. Interesting. I think it would be safe to assume that resistances in future will be that way. A more linear reduction in damage and a reduction in resistance reduces resistance, obviously, to the target. And stuff like Curse of Shadows, Curse of Elements increase damage. I would only assume that resistance reducing procs would do the same thing. Is that the way we want it to go? I would probably say yes in this respect. How else can we do it? Resistances at the moment are a bit dodgy, to say the least. Random. Too random. You can't really tell what's going to be happening. There seems to be a little bit too much luck involved in the resistance system itself. It's a tricky puzzle. A linear reduction might work, but then again, would it scale properly? Would it be a percentage? I would say 1 resistance, reduce resistance by 1%. Well, that can't work, because if you had 300% resistance, then you're not going to be hit by anything, are you? How would it work? Would it be capped? Would it be a sliding scale? Say, if you had 10 resistance, that might reduce the damage by 1%, but if you had 20 resistance, that might reduce it by 5. So you have a reverse sliding scale. A curve which is not linear. The higher you get, the more resistance you get, and maybe capped off at the end. Maybe, maybe not. Will it work? Possibly. It always puzzled me when I saw the items for the thorium armor set in-game. I thought, hey, this looks cool. But then I thought, hang on. So you want me to sacrifice all this strength, all these stats, for resistances which probably won't make a blind bit of difference? Would stuff like thorium armor, bright cloth robes, wizard weave, and all such things become viable were a resistance system like that to be put in? Probably. Is that something you'd like to see? Email themurloc@gmail.com, let me know. Now, back to Anchorage. What do we really need to know about Anchorage? Anchorage is just another instance. And it's coming out with some really nice things. Some are heralding the arrival of Tier 3 item sets which can be found in Anchorage. Some are hailing the additions of new spell ranks. Some are just drooling over the thought of a 120 DPS one-handed mace, which has in fact been seen on the item list. Whether or not it's fake or not, we do not know. Whether it will be nerfed is questionable. Now, there's one interesting thing about that mace that kind of confused me. That mace has a passive effect. It's a very powerful mace that has a passive effect that increases attack power when in cat form, bear form, dire bear form. That's cool, but let's face it, Liz, are you really expecting anyone who can use a mace in melee combat not to roll on something that powerful? This thing outdamages Sulfaris and it's a one-hander. Where's the logic in that? We will have to see what happens there. Whether it will be nerfed, I don't know. Whether it will be ridiculously attainable or unattainable, as the case may be, questionable. We don't know this. But it does seem to me that something so powerful couldn't possibly be easily attainable. And that something so powerful should never, ever outrank the power of a legendary weapon, especially not a two-hander. Interesting. What did strike me as odd about that mace was that it's a 2.1 speed. What you would usually expect from a 2.1 speed weapon is a lower maximum damage. In this case, no. There is no lower maximum damage. The maximum damage is extremely high. That allows for big crits. It allows for attack power to work in your favor, especially with the new attack power calculations. I can see everyone rolling on it. It's not a druid weapon because it's so powerful. Very odd way of itemizing. It may be changed. It may even be a fake mace. We don't know. Slipped into the screenshots, photoshopped. How should we know? We'll have to wait and see, folks. Now, I wanted to go and have a shot at Anchorage on the test server, but the queue was 10,000 people long, so I thought, I don't really have the time for this. That's almost as bad as a dagger spine. I did have a chance to have a shot of Anchorage at BlizzCon, though. It's what you'd expect from an instance. If you've seen some of the screenshots, the indoor areas are good. The outdoor areas remind me of Zul'Farrak, only more purple. There was a nasty purple haze over the instance, and I wasn't too pleased. The pulls are as you would expect. They're a mixture of Molten Core and Zul'Gurub style pulls. The first pull are these two big Anchorage gladiators, which might as well be the same as Molten Giants, only geared towards a 20-man. It's what you'd expect from an instance.
Okay.
I'm not going to complain.
Okay, hold on. Let me get to a safe place real quick. That's safe enough. Okay. I will be back in a minute. So, enjoy this. Okay. I'm back. And we're going to put this back on.
Because in my opinion, the more instances, the better. The more places there are to get viable loot, the better.
Continue onward.
My only concern is that it appears to be progressing in a linear fashion. Zul'Gurub, Molten Core, Blackwing Lair, 40-man Anchorage. Now, there has at least been a little bit of variation put in there with a 20-man Anchorage, but
That spell isn't ready.
I'm not so sure if this is what we want. Do we want a ladder of instances that you have to go up in a linear order? You have to do this, and then this, and then this. You can't jump the queue because you will get your ass handed to you on a silver platter.
On the way out.
We'll see. We shall see what Blizzard has. What the hell was that? Oh, it's a song. Well, you can have it, because I pressed the wrong button. You're listening to the podcast and archive of Blue Please. You can listen in live on Sundays at 17:30 GMT. That's 12:30 Eastern Standard Time with a lively musical pre-show kicking off 1 hour beforehand. If you like WoW Radio's productions, then make sure to dig our shows at dig.com and check out our website at www.wcradio.com. Broadcasting across the world and around the globe for Azerothians everywhere. Ladies and gentlemen, this is WoW Radio.
Why does she have a manly dying sound?
Yes, indeed. Right, that's the commercial metal out of the way. I shall be playing Epic. Yes, I did say Epic for the rest of the show. Nah. Right, that was, of course, System of a Down, brand new. That was Attack from Hypnotize. And before that, not exactly what I had in mind to play because I pressed the wrong button. It skipped to a random track and decided just to play it. That was actually 1 minute silence,
Anyway.
1845. Oops. Okay, never mind. It happens. This is Total Biscuit with Blue Please here on WoW Radio, and we're talking about the patch. Now, I want to take a more general topic before delving into the specifics of this patch, and I want to take it from two different angles. Euphemisms for the win. Right. Now, I would like to contrast two things. I would like to contrast the current mage whining that mages are not getting changed, and the current paladin whining that paladins are getting changed.
We'll do that eventually.
I ask you this, is Blizzard in a damned if you don't and damned if you do situation? Yes, I got the quote wrong. I don't care. Same principle.
Right, eventually.
So,
And that.
I usually avoid the issue of class balance because, one, I don't feel like I can talk about it in anything other than a mage context because I don't play anything but a mage. I've got some alts, but I know virtually nothing about them other than the basics. I'm not going to argue level 60 PvP balance for a class that I only have as a level 16. It's not going to happen. So, what I will deal with, however, is mage balance. Now, I'm going to annoy some people here. No doubt I am. And I'll tell you this. This opinion is mine alone. If you disagree with it, that is your own problem. I have absolutely no qualms with telling you that I think that mages are absolutely fine. I shall explain why. The thread I wanted to link has unfortunately vanished. I assume because it was full of bollocks. However, I will reprise what I can remember of it.
Should have saved it.
Now, someone posted on the general forums a big thread about how mages suck in every possible way. Basically, this guy hates his class. He really does. He hates it with a passion.
Okay.
He can't seem to find it.
What now? Farewell. Dalar has found that the weaving is quite far along, despite the setback. A wizard of great power is guiding the magic energy. He must be stopped quickly. An archmage of great power is overseeing the reactivation of the ley energy node. With the progress they have made, our only hope of stopping them is by killing him. It will be difficult. He is no doubt protected by many other mages and warders. You must go, and you must dispatch him quickly. When he is dead, retrieve his staff for me. Go now.
Right. So you want me to go back? Ooh. Okay.
Remember, patience.
Hey, hey. Mama didn't raise no idiot. Papa didn't raise me at all. God damn. Okay. It's gonna be like that then, is it?
A single good word to say about it.
Fuck me.
The gist of it was, he said that mages are broken in PvE, mages are broken in raiding, and mages are broken in PvP. So, the three biggest elements of the game, mages apparently can't do jack in. Okay. Well, I disagree. I've got level 60 mage. My level 60 mage is my main. I've got 45 days played on the EU servers. It's not all that much, I'm sure some of you have got twice that, but I think I know my class reasonably well.
Trollbane. A troll
Let me
rogue
deal with
named
these points one at a
Trollbane.
time.
Wow.
Point. Mages are broken
So
in PvE.
creative.
Lies. Blatant, barefaced lies. If a mage is broken in PvE, then
shouldn't talk
explain to
there.
me how I can solo a
I wanted to
61
be
elite
racist.
without it even touching me. If mages are broken in PvE, then explain to me how I can maintain a DPS of over 500 against the target. If mages are broken in PvE, explain to me how I
almost
can
ready to
kill
level.
the entire Twilight Prophet
Nice.
patrol consisting of one level 61 elite and
Eventually.
8 level 60 mobs and still survive. How can I do that? Am I using hacks? No. Nevermore has the term learn to play your class noob ever been more poignant and meaningful. Every class in WoW has strengths and weaknesses, as you well know. And yet WoW does not require individual player skill. So what does it require? Can I just sit there bashing random buttons and will I win? No, of course not. However, what it does require is knowledge. Knowledge of your class. Knowledge of everyone else's class. Knowledge of how to fight. Basic principles of a mage. Glass cannon. Low hit points. Pathetic armor. Lots of ranged damage. Now, people say, but they're not a glass cannon because we can't outdamage hunters. Yes, you can. You're just not doing it properly. Now, when a hunter fights, he doesn't just fight with nothing. No, he fights with a good set of equipment. He fights with ranged attack power. He fights with agility to give him crit chance. And he fights with a marksmanship build, for instance. Any build that he feels will benefit him most in doing damage over a distance. A mage is exactly the same. If you decide to kit up in eagle gear and you complain about not doing enough damage, then there's something wrong there. What would a hunter do with a rubbish bow and no ranged attack power?
No.
Nothing.
Beware.
He'd
And
suck.
you trade supplies and nobody here is going
What
to
do we
that.
do
Okay.
with no plus spell
think.
power? Nothing. We
Okay, so let's listen to a couple of these so I know what we're going to be doing next.
Before we launch an assault on Fenris Isle, we must determine who is behind the Rothhide Knolls. Our apothecaries believe their origin lies within the strange fluid that flows through their bodies. Go to Fenris Isle, east of the decrepit ferry, and collect Rothhide ichor from the knolls you find there. Bring it to Apothecary Renfurl, stationed outside the sepulchre.
Cool, okay. So, decrepit ferry. Okay. We need to go to where we were and then swim over. And then...
According to Berard's journal, the moss from lake skulkers and creepers might prove useful for our quest to brew a new plague. Those beasts dwell on the islands in Lake Lordimer to the east. He also mentions a very rare hardened tumor that he discovered on a vile Fin Murloc. Apparently the tumor is so rare, Berard was only able to obtain one. Collect samples of the moss as well as the rare hardened tumor and take them to Master Apothecary Farinell in the Undercity.
And that we gotta go back to the Undercity for that one. That's south. And then maybe?
I have received reports that a group of undead are holding up to prepare for an attack against us. Armed with this information, we can turn the tables and attack them first, nipping their little plan in the bud. Unfortunately, my information is spotty at best. They are reported to be hiding in a location known as Baron's Pearl. The exact location is unknown, but it appears to be a cave in the hills near a pocket of Dalaran wizards. I trust your resourcefulness. Find them and put them down.
Oh, is that what this is? We'll have to see. Okay, I was wondering what kind of quest would be there. Okay, that's for a rogue quest, so we ain't gonna fuck with him.
Suck. Oh, really? A little parallel there.
What did I miss?
Now, I'm not going to say that a mage class is perfect. What I will say is that if you want to do damage, then maybe you should start investing in plus damage gear. It's a crazy concept, I know. Damage equals damage. Wow, a formula for all the ages. No, it's really quite simple.
Get that.
If you want to do damage, that's the
not even
kind of
worth
equipment
it.
you've got to go for. Now, whether or not Blizzard is wrong in saying that you've got to do that is questionable. However, the point of the matter was that they're useless in PvE, and they can't do the damage. Wrong.
Okay.
What about raiding?
Where are these fucking... Oh, here they are.
Now, those of you who've raided Molten Core will be well aware that half of a mage's job in Molten Core is to decurse.
Yeah.
We have to do a lot of decursing. Some fights we will only spend decursing. Lucifron, for instance, is mostly decursing. Gehennis is mostly decursing. Shazra is mostly decursing. And half of Major Domo is sheeping things. However, in Molten Core, my mage was in the top 5 damage dealers, despite the fact that
Just gotta
half the
get
time
good
I was
drop rates.
hammering the remove curse button. How did I do that? It's easy. My mage is damage spec. It does damage. It's that simple. How can they suck in raiding if they can do so much damage? People say, well, a hunter outdamages them. Of course a hunter outdamages them. A hunter doesn't have to decurse. A hunter can sit there plugging away happily. The reason rogues and hunters end up at the top of damage meters is because that's all they do. They are primary damage dealers. They have no other real function. That's what they do. You don't need a rogue for anything other than lots and lots of damage in MC. Rogues don't have to decurse. Rogues don't have to banish. Rogues do not have to heal. That's why they're up there. You will notice in many instances that mages will top the damage. Why? Because they're actually doing damage all the time. It might seem obvious, but some people seem to miss this point. They look at the damage meter on their mage and they say, hey, I suck. My class sucks because I'm not top of the list. You're not top of the list because you're not only doing damage. Are you unhappy in your role? Is this a problem for you, that you don't just sit there hammering the frostbolt button all the time? That you have to decurse? That in some instances you even have to polymorph? A scary thought.
That spell isn't ready yet.
That, unfortunately, is just the way it is. I've got no problem with that. It makes my role a little bit more interesting. I don't just have to sit there hammering the frostbolt button, because sometimes I get to decurse as well. Brilliant. PvP. This is where most people get riled. They say, Zomg, I can't beat this class. My class sucks. No. You suck.
That spell isn't ready.
Why do I say that?
Because you're a dick.
Examine what the mage has at its disposal. A mage has an unparalleled number of crowd control, slowing, snaring abilities, and escape tactics. It has chill effects on several spells. It has the chill and slow effect associated with ice armor. It has frost nova. It has Cone of Cold. It has Blink.
Isn't ready.
It has Mana Shield. If you're the right spec, you can have Ice Block and Ice Barrier as well.
Meh.
That's quite a lot of defensive abilities. I'm sure Warlocks would kill for that many. Wow, Howl of Terror, Death Coil. That must help. Now, that is one element of a mage, and the second element of a mage is the ability to deal a lot of damage over a distance. People say, oh, but a hunter can do this on an aim shot. I can do that on a fireball, and that's a standard attack. I could do that on a frostbolt. Wow, 1.8k aim shot crit. Oh, my frostbolt does that. Not only that, but with my spec, I can increase my critical chance damage if I'm attacking a frozen target.
I can't cast that yet.
Yeah, I'm frost spec, but I've also played fire. I've also played arcane in every major hybrid build in the game. And I can say that there's nothing wrong with the class. Specific arguments. The mage doesn't do enough damage. Wrong. It obviously does. It deals it out at a horrific rate, no matter what spec you are. Frost spec is probably the lowest damage output.
That spell isn't ready yet.
On the line with arcane. But when it crits, it's nasty.
I can't
With
carry
plus damage, it works very well.
Fuck.
So you take your spec, and you customize your character. Your character is based on gear. If you have the wrong gear for your spec, you are gonna suck.
That's still
I remember I was spec'd pure arcane at one point. And I went the mana whoring approach. I had 8.2k mana. What good did it do me in PvP? Absolutely nothing. It was rubbish. Of course it was rubbish. It was an instancing spec. I knew that. It's obvious. I didn't expect my spec to poke in
Warlocks.
PvP. It didn't. And that's simply what happened. It's all about common sense. The only valid argument I could find in this guy's post, and I'm sorry I can't show you this post, 'cause it appears to have vanished. But he said, oh, resistance is a problem for fire mages and so forth. Yeah, they are, but it's getting sorted out. Blizzard have already said this, there's no point in whining about it. As a mage, you are gear dependent.
Oh, God.
And people complain. They say, oh, why should we be more gear dependent than a warrior? You aren't. Have you tried fighting a naked warrior? It's easy. They can't do anything. Whereas if you fight a naked mage, they can do something.
That's still
And heck, against a warrior, I'd probably win.
isn't ready yet.
It's this simple, folks, and the point I'm trying to make is this.
Probably.
I can't
Don't
carry
mess with a class if you don't need to.
inventory is full.
Don't demand changes when they're not necessary. Learn to play your class, and rewards will come your way.
Charging.
I'm a mage, and I don't whine. I like my class, and I don't want it to be changed.
I can't carry.
I really don't. It's that simple. I do not want my class to be changed because I like it just the way it is. People say that the
Well,
talent
you have
trees are
to buff
useless.
somebody
I've gone
else.
pure on every single talent tree at one point in my life, and there are only a handful of talents that I have not had a use
Why
for.
not?
Some are more useful than others, but then again, that's going to happen with every tree. And that's why, if you wish, you can do a hybrid build. You have that option. You are not forced to take an entire tree. No, not at all.
Still charging.
You listen to Blue Please here on WoW Radio with myself and Total Biscuit. And it may be time for our little friend.
I haven't seen a
Someone that we all love to hate.
Worker ones. Skulkers.
Yes, indeed.
Ask the mill.
I haven't seen a fucking creeper. Maybe the other islands here?
Ask the mill.
Dear Murloc,
Once I get these.
how do you save the game? I want to be able to quit and then come back where I left off.
Hide in a room nearest rock and plead for your life, foolish mortals, but it's I, the Murloc. Ha! Come to rain fire and brimstone on your homesteads and scare away your cats.
Ah, I missed.
Ah, you incompetent fool. Of course I can answer your pifflingly easy query. save the game, you need to use the in-game hotkeys, which are combinations of different buttons used to perform a particular task. In this case, the combination you need to use is Alt and F4. This will instantly save your game. You can also restart the game in an easier mode by pressing the power button on your computer 3 times and then kicking it repeatedly until the gold falls out. This should solve all your problems. Ah!
Ask the Murloc.
Dear Murloc, I am a pretty low-level char and I was wondering how do you get to the Alliance place from the Hordes? I've heard something about a boat. Will you help me, please?
Yes, I know what it is you seek. As a level 12 Horde player, it is obligatory that you make a trip to Stormwind, which is a small alliance village to the east of the Undercity. You'll have to travel through the Plague Lands, but don't worry, they're nowhere near as bad as they sound. You should have been Light Hope's chapel along the way, which really is as beautiful as it sounds, with lots of friendly people waiting to help you on your quest. Should you reach Stormwind, please speak to the cheese vendor. The bastard owes me £10.
Dear Murloc, I'm not very creative, and I can't think of a good name for my character on a role-playing server. Can you help me?
Ah, yes, you've come to the right place. You see, the Murloc is a role-playing connoisseur and a fantastically creative name generator. All rolled into one and free to download. Yes, indeed. Okay, generally speaking, role players are a relaxed bunch, fond of internet crazes, overused cliches, and names involving words like owns, 50 Cent, and 007. My suggestion for the perfect role-playing name would therefore be as follows. Really, OMG lasers, pew pew, 50 Cent owns 007. Now be gone before I purge your soul with flame while sipping this fine cognac.
Ask the Murloc.
Too far away.
You're listening to the podcast and
Oh,
archive
some
of
Murlocs.
Blue
I
Please.
think
You
I
can
have
listen in
the,
live on Sundays at 17:30
tumor.
GMT. That's 12:30 Eastern Standard Time with a lively musical pre-show kicking
Yeah.
off 1 hour beforehand. If you like WoW Radio's productions, then make sure to dig our shows at dig.com and check out our website at www.wcradio.com.
Yes, the sounds of Sonata Arctica there with I Want Help. Before that, Primal Fear and Armageddon here on Blue Please. This is with, of course, Total Biscuit. No one else, it's not the Murloc, and no, the Murloc is not controlling me. As some people are accusing me in the channel of being unable to control the Murloc. No, it's fine. I'm not being mind-controlled or coerced into anything. Of course.
Got it.
Okay, a few shout-outs to go out before I get on with the show. A shout-out to, how the hell do you spell that? Shaorin, possibly, who is 3k rep off getting an Undead epic mount on Defiance Brotherhood. Awesome. A shout out to X-Ron J. He's from Violet
Creepers,
North.
okay, there they are.
Apparently, if I don't give him a shout, he'll nag me in guild chat for the rest of my WoW days. Oh dear. Okay, a shout out goes to Wolfos, who's just spent 7 hours in Molten Core and now wants to get his mind back. You listened to the wrong show if you want to do that. Shout out to Lizzle for returning to the White Rose Guild. That's from Freak Wave. A shout out to the Cutus from Elandra, if that's how you really pronounce it. You are silly bastard for changing servers. Oh.
Isn't ready yet.
A shout out to all Night Elf engineers out there. That's from Luku. A shout out to Eldini. That's from Kaltusk. Let's see. A shout out to Masalio, just for the sake of it. A shout out to Replica on EU Dark Sorrow for getting Ragnaros down. Congratulations. Shout out to Beer. That's from Airy because Beer is so epic. Agreed. A shout out to Shalindria, the sexiest Oompa Loompa in WoW. That'd be awesome if you do shout outs. I do. That's from Tom Smug. A shout out to TB for finally convincing me to drop Paladin to play Mage. Just hit level 14. Rock on. Okay. Let us get on with the show.
That spell isn't ready.
Now, what else is coming in this patch? I just talked about mages for 15 minutes, and the point I was trying to make there is that there is no bad class in WoW. As long as you know how to play it.
Inventory is full.
Now, it's not to say that all classes are perfect. Of course not. The new soul shard bag thing is ridiculous. Why should warlocks have to use a bag to carry soul shards when it would be far easier just to make the damn thing stackable in the first place? Not that that would solve the problem of having to have soul shards, which I totally disagree with, I might add. Where... Sorry, I'm going to go off topic for 1 second and say, who thought that that was a good idea? So, you were coming up with classes beyond the basic few, you know, warrior, priest, mage. So he said, okay, how can we make this different? Well, we can give them a pet. Oh, yeah, but they're night hunters now. Oh, we'll give them soul shards. So that the most powerful spells require a reagent. Oh, so their powerful spells are going to be more powerful than everyone else's. No, they'll be just the same. So what you're saying is that they've got spells which are just the same as, say, a mage spell, like with stuff like Shadow Burners, like the same as Fire Blast, etc. But you have to use a reagent to cast them.
To get closer.
Eh? Who thought that was a good idea? Now I can understand it for the stuff like summoning demons and portals and that kind of thing. We've got to use reagent for portals. So using a reagent for ritual of summoning is fine. Using a reagent to summon a demon, okay. Using a reagent to cast a spell is very handy in PvP.
That spell isn't ready.
Yeah. Is all I've got to say about that, and that's not even a sentence. Oh dear. Anyway, yeah, back to the topic at hand. The point of the matter was paladins. Right, I know nothing about paladins.
Yeah.
I know how to fight them, but I don't know how to play them. But some of you know, no doubt. So, it's working. Yeah, it's working. It's working as intended, baby. Or is it? Paladins are getting a major rework in 1.9. Serious major rework in the same way that every other class before it has, i.e., well, druids and hunters, really. The warrior and warlock shaman. Warlock shaman? What's a warlock shaman? The warriors and warlock changes were a little bit half-arsed. Hunters and druids were more complete talent reworks. Paladins are getting changed. I don't understand paladins. Some of you do. I want to hear what you have to say. If you were to rework a paladin, how would you do it? Email themurloc@gmail.com for this week's Work Is Intended. How would you fix the paladin? Would you do everything that Blizzard's just done in the 1.9 patch notes? Would you, in fact, do nothing at all? Would you leave it as it is, or would you change it? How would you change it?
I gotta swim.
We shall see.
Is he just gliding?
Okay. I'm going to leave that topic for now. And
Oh
let
yeah,
you
he
lot
legit
rack
doesn't
your
even have a
brains for
fucking
little bit of
swimming animation
information.
in Classic.
Back
They
to
added
patch notes.
fell
What else is there
guards to the
interesting
game.
in the patch notes? What's going on? Why should we
Or at least they
even
did
care?
this for, they let you do this. For
Raid
warlocks.
calendars. This is a big change.
But they didn't give
For
them
high-end
swimming
rated kills.
animations.
Most of you will be aware that stuff like Molten Core is on a cooldown.
Oh, Blizzard.
So that once you
Maybe
kill a
Blizzard
boss
or
in Molten
Bethesda, I
Core,
don't even know anymore.
the instance is saved to you. So if you were to go back in, you would have the same instance. That boss would be dead, still. The mobs would probably have respawned because they're on a 2 or 3 hour timer, but the bosses are dead. And if you kill Magmadar in Molten Core, the Ancient Core Hounds, they don't respawn. If you kill Gar, the Lava Surges don't respawn. Unfortunately, if you kill Golomag, the Giants do respawn, but, well, there you go.
Yep.
What's the logic in it? To stop
Yep,
it being farmed. Your epics are supposed to be epic. Yes. I did say it.
Hey,
They're supposed to be epic,
you enjoy more health.
so
bitch.
you're not supposed to have a whole bunch of them, and they're not supposed to be easy to get. That's the difference between commons, uncommons, superiors, and epics. And of course, legendaries. That's the difference. So, that's the reason for a cooldown. To stop people farming it hard. But they farm it anyway. Now, there are two major changes here. The first change is this. Molten Core will be reset every
Oh,
7
God,
days.
he's lighting at me.
Currently, it's on a... Please say that I've got this right. 6-day cooldown, I believe. Blackwing Lair is on the same. A 6-day cooldown. However, that cooldown starts when you kill a boss. What's the difference? The difference is this. It's not going to do that. If you start on, say, a Thursday at 8 o'clock and you kill a boss at 9, and say it was on the 7-day cooldown that they're proposing right now, it wouldn't reset until Thursday at 9 o'clock next week. However, the resets are going to be static. They will be reset during weekly maintenance. What does that mean? That means that if you were to start a Molten Core raid 3 hours before weekly maintenance, you finish 1 hour before weekly maintenance, you kill the boss, you left, when you came in tomorrow, that instance will be gone and you'll be on a clean slate. Why? That is a very good question. I'm trying to follow Blizzard's logic here and work out why this is. What are the benefits? What does it change? What is going to happen here? Let's take the most simplistic thing first. 7-day cooldown on Molten Core and Black Relay. Whereas before it was 6. So what's going to happen there is that there's going to be less farming. You can't do it every 6 days, you can do it every 7. It's going to slightly reduce the amount of edits that are coming out there. It's going to frustrate some hardcore guilds, perhaps. What it is going to do, though, it's going to open up areas in a Raiding Guild's weekly calendar to do anchorage. Notice the logic there.
Oh, God.
I heard guilds complaining that they wouldn't have time to do anchorage. They didn't have enough nights in the week. By extending the cooldowns, you open up spaces for anchorage to be done as well. Admittedly, it's going to get to a point where you're not going to have enough spaces and you're actually going to have to choose. That'll be cool. I agree with that. The idea of having to choose which instances you do rather than having a simple linear progression from one to the next would be nice. I would appreciate that. And it will happen.
Alright.
But not yet.
Got some dialogue to listen to.
What is it? Very good. This ichor will help us understand the nature of the rot hides and may show us their weakness, if they have one. I have reduced the ichor you brought me and separated it into its base components. My findings are not conclusive, but I have determined that warlock and necromantic magics were used in the ichor's creation. While I continue to study the ichor, I want you to take a sample to Bathor Ishard in the Undercity.
Yeah,
Bathor is not an apothecary, but his knowledge of magic may help to unravel the mystery of the rot hides. Go. You will find Bathor in the magic quarter of the Undercity.
Alright, good. We had to go there for that thing anyway. That is perfect. I need to go train up some
Greetings.
buffs.
Our bats are well trained and fed. You'll not fall faster.
Oh no, I lost that soul shard. Oh well.
Now, stuff's going to be reset during weekly maintenance. I don't see the logic in that, to be quite honest with you. I've had a think. I've been sitting here thinking, what are the benefits? Is it because it's a easier way of doing things for Blizzard? Is that why? Is there some kind of bug issue that we've got to deal with? Is this why it's being reset in weekly maintenance? It's a tricky one. If you've got any ideas as to why this is going to happen, and this is specifically referring to the cooldown resets, email themorlock@gmail.com. I'd like to hear from you because this is one thing that's got me very, very stumped. I can't think of a logical reason for it. Now, Skylaze just said a constant day for a raid is better than switching. Why? That's the question. Why? Why is it better? Some raids and some guilds would prefer to raid on certain nights. You can't expect them to necessarily raid at other times. Is this going to make a difference to them? Possibly. I mean, they're going to have to rework the schedules around this. There may be another reason for it that I do not know about. There is very little explanation in the patch notes as to why. It just says, this is what we're going to do. Okay, fair enough. But why? If you can think of any answer to that whatsoever, email themurloc@gmail.com. We shall discuss it in good time. Okay. Now, the rest of the patch is pretty much your standard kind of stuff. It's what you'd
Okay,
expect from a patch
magic
notes. Bug
quarter
fixes,
there.
balance changes, and all that kind of jazz. A big class rework. Okay. A new instance. Yep. Linked auction houses. Yeah. Now, this is just one point I want to address before I go to the next music break. Linked auction houses. Okay, that's fair enough. However, that is not necessarily going to make
sell
people
some
use
shit
cities more.
first.
Orgrimmar is the central hub. I'm not going to be in Thunderbuff because it's out of the way. There are less people there. If I want to get a group, I go to Orgrimmar. I don't go to Thunderbluff because there's no one there. I don't go to the Undercity because it's really horribly designed and bleh, it's full of green slime. It's unhygienic. This is not going to increase the use of cities. What it's going to do is going to give a handy way if you happen to be passing through to check auctions, but you're not specifically going to go there. It's not going to happen. But, again, just like the whole dressing room feature, it's a feature which is going to have some limited use, and I'm not complaining that it's getting put in the game. And no doubt it's not exactly taken a lot of effort to put in there. Now, I'll be discussing multiple battleground queues after the break, or trying to.
I mean,
You're
it's not
listening to
too
Blue
bad,
Please here on WoW Radio.
especially for a low level.
Perhaps it's time for a little bit of Ensophyrum. It's epic, it's slightly folky, and it's quite difficult to understand. This is a tale of revenge.
You're listening to the podcast and archive of Blue Please. You can listen in live on Sundays at 17:30 GMT. That's 12:30 Eastern Standard Time with a lively musical pre-show kicking off 1 hour beforehand. If you like WoW Radio's productions, then make sure to dig our shows at dig.com and check out our website at www.wcradio.com.
Okay.
Good, you've got some grit. I like that. Well then, let's get going.
Sell those off first. Maybe they're right here. Yep. I'll go return to that in a minute.
I am forsaken. Dark Lady, watch your...
This substance is laced with powerful spells, some of which I have not seen for a long, long time. One moment. I must invoke a spell of divination.
Damn, you're ugly.
Victory for Sylvanas.
This ichor was crafted by an old colleague of mine, Thule Ravenclaw. He was a young, promising mage before the Great War, but when the Lich King rose to power, he betrayed his brethren and allied with the Scourge. I did not realize he still lives, nor that he leads the Rothides in their forays against us. I know many of his spells, and can help concoct a potion to counter them. Take this scroll back to Apothecary Renferrel. It has the incantations needed for the potion.
Long ago, Gunther and I, along with the now Scourge necromancer Thule Ravenclaw, were friends.
No. Return his book to him? First of all, that's not even... Yeah. I'm not gonna bother with that. No, I can't even get good enough experience for it. If any at all. What do you have to say?
Hello.
Okay, why this isn't voice, I don't know. But a Sayed, is a devourer of souls, dominator of wills, tempter of hearts, a creature of profound evil and singular mind. Ooh. Sounds like a lot of, I'm not even gonna say it. Folktales told by righteous and wicked alike use their common name, succubus for females, incubus for males. Okay. Yeah, so they let you have male and female. Nice. The demon must be lured into our world with a stimulus. Fuck, I give it $1,200? Dude. I don't have $1,200 to just give a fucking demon. The hearts of pure and loved mortals, the Syad, will be unable to resist. Then you can dominate it and make it your own. Speak with my assistant, Godric Farson, within the temple. He will help you find your bait.
Trust no one.
Oh, wait.
A succubus is a devourer of souls, destroyer of hearts, tempter of men, a creature of profound evil and of singular mind. It cannot be brought into our world without a stimulus. Thus we use its own strength against it. With the hearts of good men, pure men, loving men. The succubus will be unable to resist and will cross into our world. Then you can dominate it and make it your own. Speak with my assistant, Godric Farsan, within the temple. He will help you find your bait.
I want to die. Okay. I did say within the temple. There you are, prick.
You were sent by Carandine? Adventurer, then. Do not think light of me because my sight is gone. I see things that lie behind now, with clarity I had never known. What I once thought a curse is now a boon.
Victory for Sylvanas.
Hearts of the pure.
Men of honor and goodness? Does such a man exist? It took much research, but through bits of...
Hold on.
Watch your back.
Huh?
Farewell. Beware the living.
Men of honor and goodness? Does such a man exist? It took much research, but through bits of overheard stories, I managed to find 2 men that should do. The first is Dalin Forgewright, who has dedicated himself to the care of the Lordaeron refugees, whom are refused by their kin at the Greymane Wall. The other is Komar Villard, a man who remains faithful to his lost love, wandering the wetlands for a sign of his wife. Deliver their hearts to Carandine. But first, let me show you your quarry.
Oh wow, they changed that from the original. They kept almost the same name, but they changed it to a woman. The wetlands. I mean, eventually, but god damn, bro.
Farewell.
Okay. They literally did. Oh, wait a minute. What? They changed the dialogue, but they didn't change the model. It was still a male model.
I'm listening.
What? This one's not.
Victory for Sylvanus.
This one's not even voiced. An incubus will be drawn to the hearts of lovers, and the most aching love will create the most irresistible lure. By this Ryan is revealed two that should serve exceptionally. In Silverpine Forest, Avelina Lilly provides her tailoring services to the fallen wizards at Ambermill. Okay, in the Barrens, Isaac Pearson hopes to make his mark in the seaside town of Ratchet. They toil on opposite ends of the earth, yet their hearts earn only for each other. Bring their hearts to Carradon.
Trust no one.
Okay. And I see their visage. Avelina, that's what she looks like. I don't know why there's no voice for that. I'm not gonna bother reading it. And then this dickhead. Okay. I will reunite them eventually.
Want to make your demons more powerful? It'll cost you, but you've come to the right
wish
place.
they never fucking met me.
Do not seek.
You know enough to be dangerous, but you still look like you need training to be adventurer.
Yeah. I do. 26. Get fucked. I'll get demon armor. Health font will be nice. Of course that doesn't update. We're full of summoning, that's all anybody wants me for. Or would want me for at that rate. We'll get that if we ever do a dungeon. Be useful. And I might as well get that.
For the Horde!
Whatever. Why did I just get recklessness? Yeah. Put that there. Okay. Unending breath. Demon armor. Much better than demon skin. We'll use that from now on. Ritual of summoning. Put that down there. Health funnel. Late. Rain of fire. And then shed a bolt. Is that it? Yep. Okay, cool. Back to that. Once again. Just to be funny about it. stuck up on Fred. Stuck up on, or they'll sell these on the AH.
I haven't got all day.
There we go. At least 10 I can make.
Ladies and gentlemen, do not be alarmed. A cynical Brit has been allowed on the air with a microphone. You will listen, or the kitten we have hostage will be forced to fight a giant badger. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Blue Please. Enjoy. Wow.
Radio.
The Sad Life of Gammon, only here on WoW Radio.
Maybe
that was, of
those
course,
will
Daryl Brewer, a.k.a. Brew Guy, the guy who created the winner of WoW Idol 2005, the Ganker. Everyone just yelled at me, where do I get that song, TB? You get that song from www.brewguy.ca/music. Go there now. I'll link it to you in the channel. That's brewguy.ca/music. You can also download the Ganker and the Ganker Unplugged, which was created exclusively for this show. And if you look back through the archives, you will find an interview with himself, Mr. Ganker, Brew Guy, the musical genius that he is. Nice one. Okay, back to the task at hand.
Onslaught.
Got some emails in for Working as Intended this
Funny.
week. So, I'm going to get on with it. Right, okay, Paladin changes. Here we go. Wolfos
Just
is a level
flood the
60
market.
Paladin. Here we go. Hey TB, this is a topic that is so hard to put it's untrue. Let me put it this way. We got a nerf to bubble, a 1-minute debuff like Weakened Soul, which we needed. We got a 30% nerf on Seal of Command, which in the end was for 1 extra proc per minute. Now, that's kind of big, but not worth it. Though I use Seal of Command, it's not the main source of damage. The big thing we got were the amount of talents for PvP. An eye for an eye talent reflects 30% of critical spell damage you take back at the caster. That is a dream move, and I love it. Oh, God. I am going to have to stay away from Paladins with that one. Unpleasant. Pursuit of Justice is an 8% running mount speed increase. Stops runners from getting away so easily. Oh, God, no. It was bad enough trying to escape from the ones with bloody increased speed and speed potions, let alone that. And a talent which lets us, our weapons proc with 15% strength and agility off the target. All of these talents are PvP orientated, which is nice, but I'd say this. They changed the way Paladins work. Now we have a lot of melee orientated moves, like people wanted.
Yeah, those aren't
but now the
gonna
stuff
sell
and
that many
heals on the
hours.
Holy Tree got placed and weakened to the point... hang on, I'm just trying to read this. Heals on the Holy Tree got placed and weakened to the point it's not harder for us to heal. In the long run, it's not going to be fair for us Paladins that want to heal in raids. Okay, so what we're looking at here is a fundamental change to the way the Paladin class is going to work. Possibly at the expense of the way that it works already. Risky. Smiley Man says this about Seal of Command. It sucks. They should have left Seal of Command as it was in 1.8. People who have collected Strength, Agility and Crit gear now need to change gear to plus Intellect, since the idiots of Blizzard increased mana in trade for 1 extra proc and a useless extra amount of damage when judging SoC. They also removed 30% of the damage. Spam, spam, spam. That's his opinion on that one. Okay, Alex
Sleeping
Draychev.
pitbull.
Everything from the new patch is really good, except the part that we won't receive at least 1 strike. But not an overpowered strike, because Paladins are a defensive class. That's what people need to understand, that Paladins are meant to take the beating and survive, not dish out insane DPS. But still, a melee hybrid being outdamaged by a spellcaster hybrid is silly.
Down.
But there is still a way to get good DPS, but people
yeah,
seem to
fucking
neglect it. Paladins are very, very gear dependent, so to the whiners out there, learn to play. Okay. Now, that is the craziest name I've seen in ages. Let me try and pronounce it and fail miserably. Kostiantine Partola. Possibly. As someone who has played a paladin for a very long time, I feel I know the class very well. I am very...
Right. Dialogue time.
Speak quickly.
Such a blow to the Royal Apothecary Society to lose Barar. But through your hard work and Apothecary Renferrel's diligent research, Berard's studies will still be useful to the Dark Lady's plight. We are on the cusp of something great here, adventurer. If you are not so skilled in the ways of combat, I would try to recruit you for membership in the society.
Well.
Farewell.
I'm just too good to be in your guild. That's it. And that's it. You fuck. Okay. No follow-up. I hate that. I guess not every quest is going to be epic or anything. Not everything's going to have a follow-up. That's fine, though. Yeah. Okay, that's getting easier to do. By the quest. We'll go back and do Thule. And, the Hexa Ravenclaw. Yeah, fuck. And I do need to go down toward the gate there. Gilneas Gate. Okay.
Content with some of Blizzard's ideas in our talent revamps. They've made Paladins a lot more interactive. They've managed to control our DPS and burst DPS. They've also increased our DPS to a degree. Unfortunately, our survivability is still very large and our DPS is still the lowest.
How may I be of service?
I have an idea how to fix this. Now, disregarding items for a moment, make Paladins wear mail their whole lives and give them DPS on the par of warriors as it is in low levels. At the same time, make the last talent in the protection tree the ability to wear plate. Now, since Paladins are a hybrid class that are meant to specialize with talent trees, make Paladins rely on talents. Make the talents uber super powerful, meanwhile nerfing the class skills to the same degree. Achieving, in this process, a class that can be made unique on almost every build. You'd have a lot of DPS if you went down the Retribution tree. You'd become a good tank if you went down the Protection tree, and you'd be a really great healer if you went down the Holy tree. At the same time, your tanking, your DPS, and your healing would greatly suffer at the expense of one. And if you want to become one great hybrid support guy, you just spec down all three trees. A similar idea to the way druids have been changed. You can specialize, but you'll never be good at everything. Okay. Oh, God. That is a long one. I'll read that out later. Now, back to the topics. I've pretty much covered everything I want to talk about in the expansion. It's not the expansion, it's the new patch. There are a couple of things I just want to cover. Now, the whole thing about having cities which are worth living in. This has always been a point that I've been a bit disturbed about. Now, also in the patch, they're going to be adding shared looking for group channels and shared trade channels. So you'll be able to see what's on the trading section.
Dump.
That's great. However,
my point dump stat.
Looking to trade this. Yeah, I would like to buy it. How much? Oh, 50 gold. Okay, that's fine. Where are you? Darnassus. Oh, I'm in Ironforge. Is that seriously going to help anything?
When I need it.
People are not going to be in Darnassus because they know it's going to be too much of a hassle for them to get to the person.
But you never know. Don't want to underestimate that shit.
That better be good.
This scroll is laced with powerful magic. I've never used such forces in a potion. It will be a powerful mixture, and should serve you well should you attack Thule in his stronghold on Fenris Isle. Before you launch an assault on Fenris Isle, report to High Executor Hadrick. He may have additional information or equipment you'll need.
Beware the living.
I don't know what gear I'm gonna need from him, but information I'll take. What do you know, motherfucker?
If what Bethor says is true, then Thule Ravenclaw is a force that must be dealt with, and dealt with soon. To aid in this task, you may take something from our arsenal here. Now is the time to assault the Scourge's place of strength in Silverpine, Fenris Isle. You must again go to the Isle and destroy Thule Ravenclaw. I want his head. This mission is as dangerous as it is vital, adventurer. You must not fail.
Oh no.
Beware the living.
I'll try not to. We're not gonna go there directly though. I do have some other shit I need to do. Where's the Weaver? Oh, that's elite? Oh, go fuck yourself. And it will absolutely be the last thing they ever do.
Who dares summon me?
Yeah, you're a new one too. Okay, and he's being protected. He's probably in the town hall building there. Stuck on the fence there, idiot.
And they're trying to trade with in the first place. However, maybe there's another way around it. What if you as a trader were to use the shared auction house system to your advantage? What if you were to put something up, wanted to trade this item? I would like to buy your item. Where are you? Oh, I'm in Darnassus. Oh, I'm in Ironforge. Okay, maybe I don't want it. Ah, but wait. What if I put it on the auction house for you and you bought it straight away at that price? Oh, that's handy. Ho-hum. A new age of auction house training using the auction house trading system as a courier. There's a word for this. Escrow. Some of you who've used eBay will be well aware that some places offer escrow services, which are effectively a third party which your item is transferred through. It's for safety, basically. It provides a guarantee to your transaction. So effectively, you could use the auction house system, the shared linked auction house system, as escrow. So I want to sell an Arcanite bar to someone in Darnassus. He's at the auction house. I'm at the auction house in Ironforge. I agree on a price. I send it up there. He refreshes the page, sees my item with my name, buys it. Okay. He gets it immediately. I get my money. End of story. How useful. Now, looking for group over different cities. Yeah, I'm not so sure that's going to encourage people to use different cities, but it's more of a case of I don't think it was designed to. I think what it's designed to do is to simply facilitate and not disadvantage people who don't happen to be in the main city. It's not going to make people think, oh, I'm going to go and hang around in Darnassus. They're not going to do that because they have to get there. But if they happen to be in Darnassus for whatever reason, they are not going to be disadvantaged in the way that you can't get in a group, you can't access the normal trade channels, you can't access an auction house. It's not the overall solution saying, hey, this is how we're going to fix everything. No. It's facilitation. It's not an encouragement for people to go to cities specifically, but it is an encouragement to stay. It's not giving an advantage to people who are in those cities, but it is removing the disadvantage of being there.
Still recharging.
Now that's a good thing. I definitely like that. Now I'm well aware that you can send things by cash on delivery. But you seem to be forgetting one rather important item. There's a 1 hour delay. Cash on delivery is not used because I want my item now. I don't want it in an hour. Don't be ridiculous. So, the argument which is being put in the channel, people love to do this. They like to try and find my argument. See, I'll see if I can find a hole in his argument. Yeah, what can we do today? Nah. No, it didn't work, I'm afraid. The mail exists, but doesn't work because it takes an hour. And again, it can stay in someone's inbox for 30 days. The reason I don't use SoD is because someone could quite easily, if they were being an arse, simply say, okay, he sent a cash on delivery. I'm not going to pay for that. I'm just going to leave it in my mailbox for 30 days. So I've lost an item for a month.
Well, yeah.
Cash on delivery not seeming like such a good idea now, is it? Nice try, didn't work. Okay.
Nothing in there.
Now, someone's just made a very good point in the channel. Demon Sword said that it helps when finding groups for out-of-the-way instances like Black Fathom Deep. And what Necromonger just said, which I think is probably the most poignant thing I've seen said all day in the channel, it gives us players a choice where we want our hometown to be. Yes, choice. Thank God, someone gets it. I like choice. I'm a big fan of choice. If I could spend all my days in Thunderbluff, I would, because I love it. But there's no reason for me to be there because
Olsen's
the
farting.
auction house isn't there. But now, if I want to stay in Thunderbluff, I can. If I want to stay in the Undercity, say for the reason that maybe I am only visiting Kargath and doing Molten Core and so forth, I can do that. And I will not be disadvantaged.
Where the fuck?
I have received reports that a group of undead are holding up to prepare for an attack against us. Armed with this information, we can turn the tables and attack them first, nipping their little plan in the bud. Unfortunately, my information is spotty at best. They are reported to be hiding in a location known as Baron's Peril. The exact location is unknown, but it appears to be a cave in the hills near a pocket of Dalaran wizards. I trust your resourcefulness. Find them and put them down.
Alright. Look at that. Get your ass in there, bitch. I'll see you later. Okay. So, nestled in the hills. So, around here? Maybe? That goes up to the mine. Don't need to go there. I see where it could be.
Useful, I see.
Just gotta go.
The light finally dawns on my ignorant eyes. Speaking of ignorance, this is rapping the forums. Yo, faux shizzle and so forth, it's time for a very special edition of the one and only Rapping the Forums. It's a versus battle. Yes, indeed. Now, usually we try and find the worst, most disgustingly terrible posts on the forums and turn them into even worse, more disgusting than you could ever imagine raps of doom. However, this time around, we have a versus battle for the crown of worst poster in the world ever. Yes, I do mean ever. Okay, so, our competitors for the day, we have the Rappin' Tootin' Meet You from Daggerspine EU. And in the red corner, we have Mr. also from Daggerspine EU. Oh, we seem to breed these people. Okay. Are we ready to play? Spin it, and so forth. Meet You up first. Oh, yes. It's a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. The point shouldn't be focused on guerrilla fights, just man. The server contains ±1,000 people, alliance and horde side. Prearrange rank status this way. Your hands do get dirty. They do that by leeching down the way they set up teams. It's not personally their fault, but no one has the balls to call this ignorance a day. including Blizzard doesn't
we're
make
going
that
here.
extra option, and it's so easy to avoid this the way we are able to sign up, so this game doesn't get into the hands which, to me, is only ready to be abused. Cleansing. And if we speak now of only a certain little amount of people who junk this whole server to not reasonable playing and play without having 10, 20 people make out a whole PvP server ranking. But again, if, for example, a bank would open its safety deposit and anyone would just run in and steal as much as they can until the human nature of being reasonable stands up and starts to make the game run in reasonable lines. With the rules inside not to be ridiculed in no time, then this game would get rid of the cheap control of being greedy and thus dismiss ideas, because you're able to control alone where the flow goes. Then it's just a game to be forgotten as soon as people are fed up with gear shame. It's a joke. Why talk to more warlords in Dagger Spine and people who came now to high gear PvP? The unseen conclusion comes to the point where they agree with a point I make, but who's gonna change it? It almost looks as if the real predator rulers are simply confused by the boatload of sheep that run into one direction. Kinda funny that we are people with brains to notify what is going on instead of giving this endless madness some true game shape.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, time for Messer's turn. You know he'll be illin' today. Okay, it's a 5-2-3-7-2-5-4. It fits in the category weakened by guild rate to win in that situation. After we lost 3 bases with 12 players versus a strong horde team, that's your thought, but we won a lot of times versus SoD or Guerrilla, so we do have chances. And no one stated something different. We weren't playing at that time. The post above explain the reason. Yes, I find it normal. I don't say I will do it, but I say there is no prop. If someone stopped playing a lost situation, by the way, I'm usually the one that wants to keep trying till the end, but that's another point. Yes, you can't really come randomly in the game for 2 minutes and believe you understood everything. We were playing all the game together, and we knew the situation. We had yesterday a weaker team than Guerrilla. Yesterday we lost mostly versus them. We can't retake a flag with the less strong team. The on-will victory we did versus them 1 or 2 yesterday. What cause? We got BS at start, and we could defend it enough to get the points of safety. If you'd know the game better, you could understand, but that doesn't seem it so. You're quite as funny as AFK, you know I react. So as you are spamming BS for a thing, total right and overall, right or wrong, and a thing you don't know at all. You have been as random as 2
really, 22
minutes in our game. Shut up, man, really.
Why is he 22? Everyone else here is that weak. Or that much weaker. Very weird.
Meet U's coming back for one final try. Oh my. It's a 7-5-2-3-2-5. It's about greed and being able to control and hold down another's ideas, as you see the negative posts come from people who A, don't understand this post, or B, are making themselves guilty in this kind of fixed playstyle. You can't blame them is the conclusion. But Blizzard seems to be blind or lost in this huge project to keep real gaming lines in a good concept. I believe that StarCraft co-op competition never got this kind of sick, boring control. The skill divided much more inside the player than the force. I am God by words. And 15 friends who ridicule the whole game on the whole server. This can be easy avoid if you put the power back in the hands of all players like it's meant to be cleansing. Inside a game doesn't promote gaming, especially if you see the way AV sign-ups are made is right into the pocket of abuse and control. If these options are made, I suggest the complaints about groups will be avoided, because I don't see anyone will loan his level 60 in useless prefixable AB games. I wouldn't be proud if in a country you have a vote, but in the end you notice it didn't matter because it was all set up already. A vote should be a vote, and a sing-up shouldn't depend on stomping low levels 99% of the time, and in your pictures pay out to preview the wicked coincidence of people not playing out having a beer NP, but something is wrong, you're right. Therefore, Blizzard, open your eyes and make that change.
Cool.
You're listening to the podcast and archive of Blue Please. You can listen in live on Sundays at 17:30 GMT. That's 12:30 Eastern Standard Time with a lively musical pre-show kicking off 1 hour beforehand. If you like WoW Radio's productions, then make sure to dig our shows at dig.com and check out our website at www.wcradio.com.
So fuck yeah. Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, do not be alarmed. A cynical Brit has been allowed on the air with a microphone. You will listen, or the kitten we have hostage will be forced to fight a giant badger. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Blue Please. Enjoy. Wow.
Radio.
This area doesn't inspire confidence in me.
Do I need a reason to play the Airwolf theme? No. So don't criticise me for it. It's not allowed. Yeah, you poor, insignificant, and totally... whatever. Yeah, I'm not the Murloc. The Murloc's better at insulting people than I am. Anyway, this is Blue Please here on WoW Radio. Yes, that was the Airwolf theme. Those who don't know what Airwolf was, you are heathens to the cause, I say.
You're trying to beat it.
Great helicopter show.
I hope you're able to.
I used to watch it when I was a kid. Basically, it was this helicopter that could do all sorts of things like backflips and fly into space.
I hope you can beat it.
It was great. It was like the air
or
version
else that's
of
just a
Knight
lot
Rider.
of time.
And if you're not careful, I'll play that, so stop it.
Before
that MC Hammer, you can't touch this.
Wasted.
And no, you cannot, with additions from MC Murloc.
In a good way.
Oh dear. Murlocs will never get old.
I'm hoping you can beat it, though. That'd be fucking amazing.
Now, someone took a long time to send me a long post about Paladins, and I think it would be only fair if I credited that one and actually read it. It's long, but I'm going to read it anyway. So, make yourselves comfortable. Think of it as a bedtime story.
Ooh, chest.
Right. Mr. R. Peterson, also known as Zilu from Earthen Ring. He obviously knows what he's talking about. So here we go. The real problem with Paladins is that they're not supposed to be a healing/melee hybrid. Or sorry, that they are supposed to be. But they're not. I and others find it rather peculiar that a melee caster healer hybrid does both healing and melee better than the melee healing hybrid. I.e., I assume what he means there is shamans. Shouldn't the melee healing hybrid be slightly better at, yes, melee and healing than a hybrid that is able to do all three things? Yes, I am talking about the Shaman. The Shaman is a great hybrid class. It does what it's supposed to do. The only thing the Paladin does better than the Shaman is that he wears heavier armor and as such can take more hits. Yes, he does have immunity shields. Oh, the agony. The immunity shields are annoying. Yes. Very useful? Not really. They let you live longer. Whoop-de-doo. No real effect on any battle apart from making you last longer. It has a use while soloing. They're like extra lives. If you manage to get killed while soloing as a paladin, you should go back to playing Tetris. At the moment, paladins are clerics. They are crappy priests who make up for their crappiness by wearing plate and having some rather beneficial party buffs. All nice. They do make a decent support class. And now, what paladins want, which is what they are not getting in 1.9, is the ability to specialize.
Here.
Specialization is done via talent trees. Look at the druid. That's how you let a hybrid specialize and be better at one thing. Paladins have 3 talent trees: Holy, Protection, and Retribution. These sound rather self-explanatory when it comes to what they do. In a hybrid world, in an ideal world, a Retribution Paladin would be decent at melee. Better than a Shaman, not as good as a Warrior. Protection Paladin should be able to tank, more or less on par with a Feral Druid. Holy Paladin should be able to heal better than a Shaman, even a Resto. Although not as good as a Priest or a Resto Druid.
I guess they wanted that to be easier.
This is, however, not how it is at the moment. Holy is the supposed healing tree. So, what the hell is Holy Shock doing in this tree as a 31-pointer? Pre-1.8 and the Hammer of Wrath. This was the only non-undead ranged attack a paladin could muster.
I ain't seen that at all.
This is... Why is this not in the tree that emphasizes effects and retribution? I have no idea. I doubt that even Blizzard has. While Blessing of the Kings, a blessing that increases all of your stats by 10%, is the end tier of retribution. Did some dev make a typo here? The talent trees also have the issues that the talents are
He's
spread
an
around in a very
animator on
untidy and
YouTube.
confusing way. Why is there a talent that increases your defense skill by 10 in the retribution tree? Tanking skills are
Basically.
supposed to go in protection. Again, they don't. There's a very simple solution to all of this. That is not being done with 1.9. Sure, 1.9 will tidy up the talents a bit, but they still
That's all
lack
I'm gonna say.
specialization. What I'd suggest is to add one core talent to
You're
each
just
tree
chilling. That's
that
good.
lets a paladin do that particular job a lot better. In the holy tree, add a talent that is
Glad
somewhat
you're
like
chilling.
nature's swiftness. Make your next holy spell instant. Suddenly, paladins can throw a decent heal in an instant. In the protection
Basically
tree, add a
what I'm
taunt.
doing.
Yes, a taunt, which is
Kinda
exactly like the
right now.
warrior taunt, except that it will require a substantial amount of talent points invested in protection.
Healing prick.
In the retribution tree, bring back one of the good old strikes, an instant attack that does weapon damage plus X holy damage with some cooldown. Something reminiscent of the Hunter's Raptor Strike. Why does a ranged DPS class have more melee prowess than a melee hybrid, That's a lot of text, I know. That's by Zelu, Earth and Ring. That's the best post I've ever seen anyone send to work as intended.
Yeah.
That is astoundingly good. And I feel like I
Trying
understand
to
the
find
paladin
this
a little bit
fucking
more after reading
entrance
it.
here to this area. I think that's
Now, one
where
of
I
my
need to go.
ex-guildies had a similar kind of idea with the shaman, saying that the shaman was a bit messed up. And it's the same kind of principle, only as
Maybe.
Zelu said, the paladin seems to be a
I
far
have
more
no
messed up
fucking
class than
clue.
the shaman is. Hybrid classes are difficult, yeah. They're a tricky thing to get right. That's just the way hybrid classes are. They are tricky, they are
And this
not
is fucking
easy.
what?
Because they're not your core. There are certain
Experience
things you expect a
gains
mage to be able
decreased
to
by
do, for instance, a priest,
150%.
a warrior.
Like, bruh.
But what about a hybrid
I'm
class?
still like low level.
What are they expected to do?
Leveling in this shit is so rough.
Very good. Outstanding. You win the Murloc Award for Murlocness.
I'm not even in the fucking PvP area yet.
And that's the end of the subject on the matter for this week's Work is Intended, as far as I'm concerned.
I'm gonna kill
Right,
myself.
I've got a
going
few
to
more
that area.
emails, a few more shout-outs, and a few more features to get out of the way before the end of the show. Okay. Right. Dave Pooley, also known as Gimbal, says the way it works out now as regards to raid dungeon resets is as follows. Guilds are doing MC on different nights of the week, and this spreads the players with spare time out to do PvP and such. For the uniform reset, players will most likely be doing MC before and after the reset, and they will all have time for PvP around the same time, aka more battlegrounds. Interesting
Probably
point.
not.
You must also note that multiple battleground queues are going to be put into the game.
Baby.
Which is cool, because quite frankly, I don't want to have to choose between the
Blood
battlegrounds.
Howler,
I
I
wouldn't
haven't
mind
seen one
as
of
long
these
as it's a
before.
battleground. AB,
name?
AB, Warsong Gulch. It's all the same to me.
Oh, and a Dark
I get
Soul.
to kill the Alliance, and that's what I'm on a PvP server.
Oh, is this like the this is the other place I
All
could have gone to get the items.
Very interesting idea,
Shackles
something
for
I
these
didn't think
things.
of. Perhaps it would be a knock-on effect. We'll have to see.
Okay.
A few more shout-outs, and then I should be playing Nubcake News. A shout-out to Bat Badger,
I'm gonna try to get through
or
here.
Bat Badger, or Cat Madger, Hat Zadger, Bat Badger. He off-tanked in Zul'Gurub, and he did a good job. Although I'm sure he did get us killed a few times. Never mind. A huge shout-out to all of Perfect Execution, especially Bearer and Soldier. That's from Anarchy. A shout-out goes to Tenna, who
no.
sits around in her
Well,
pants
maybe.
playing WoW all day. Rock on. Okay. Anyone else want a shout-out? Do it
No.
now or forever hold your
You
peace,
cunts.
because this is the last time I'm doing it this show.
Ah, fuck you, Blizzard.
A shout-out to Manel, who apparently killed the Fairy last week, and
Okay,
they're going to kill him
can't go
again
that way.
tonight on Storm Scale. That's from Pain. Anyone else want a
Fucking-
shout-out? Make it quick. And a shout-out to Epoxy, who is my new guild. Some people will be aware that I left the Halibuts. I'm not going to explain why, but I'm in a new guild, and they're cool. I'm now their raid leader, and we took down the first boss in Zul'Gurub on our second ever try of Zul'Gurub. The first ever try as me as a raid leader. The fact that they even survived with me as a raid leader is a bloody miracle. So congratulations to them all.
There we go.
A shout out to the Paladin keyboard. That's from Katamari. Some people are no doubt aware of the Paladin keyboard. A shout out to the Bunker for
survivors.
playing on the Maelstrom, working on our level 40 mounts. That's from Yevon324. A shout out to The person's name I can never pronounce. Konempi. Possibly. Me.
Meh.
A shout out to Dan because it's me. A shout out to
You're
Angel
just
Girl
away.
because she said me, and grins. There you go. Everyone's shouting me today. A shout out to the Oblivion Guild on Dragonmore EU because we just owned Gehennas in MC. A shout out to the Adventurers Inc. Guild on Argent Dawn because they lack members. So I think Zinnik is putting out a request for more members. If you're on Argent Dawn and you want a guild, go and join Adventurers Inc. And they probably adventure. Yeah. A shout out
have to just
to
Google where this
Wolf's
fucking
uncle
place
who
is.
just got hold from China. Well done. I wonder if we bought any gold over there. Evil Gnome says wait. Why does it say wait? A shout out to Marcelio. And a shout out to Core. Taking Rag at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. A shout out to Shorin, who is 3K. I've already said that! Vaska, you're not paying any attention to me. I've already said a shout out to Shorin, who is getting 3K rep of getting the Undead Epic Mount in Defiance Brotherhood. A shout out to. Oh, Verelix says you for the sheer hell of it. So a shout out to me from Verelix. Very nice. Right, okay, that's enough. No more shout outs. I actually can't even
Maybe
see
this
my
way?
RC window anymore. It's totally clogged. It's all dead. So, this feature has been missing for a few weeks. I've had writer's block. What can I say? I hold my hands up and say that I totally lost any ounce of creativity left in my body.
Okay, I've just gone into a circle.
This
It's
is
not
no
there.
fake news.
Fuck it.
Welcome to this week's edition of Nubcake News. Coming up later in the programme, our investigation into the habits of the server hamster comes to a shocking conclusion, with scenes of violence and debauchery. But first, the circus is coming to town, or more accurately, this year's hottest fashion item. World of Warcraft is holding its first annual catwalk show, entitled Tier 2 Darling. Top models from around the world have been flown in to show off the latest designs of Blizzard Entertainment's fashion department, the largest and most well-funded department in the company. Already lines have been forming around the block to get tickets to this glamorous and exclusive event. We talked to several excited members of the Gamers Alliance for Noob Killers Gank, who had camped out for weeks to get tickets to the show. This is what they had to say.
This is clearly the most important event in WoW history. It will bring game balance as never before.
Wowzers, Blizzard rocks, Tier 2 for the win.
Additional generic Blizzard compliment.
Yeah, you go down
However,
here.
it would appear that not everyone is happy with this astounding technological development. A
Two
small group of
things.
protesters who call themselves the Whining Alliance for Noobish
His
Control,
hand.
or... Wait, I can't say that on air. Is someone trying to get me
And
fired?
someone's
It's not
heart.
funny, you bastard! First the office party and now this... yes, sorry. This small group has been
someone's
protesting
here in
outside
Ambermill.
the event's venue for the last few weeks, shouting such obscenities as Nerf Blizzard and Mount Giant water
Gotta go
bottles to the
find
shoulders of the
her,
Netherwind lol
damn it.
lol lol lol. We braved the yelling and smell to talk to their leader, a Mr. Dark Emperor 007, who had this to say.
All the way back up. Then there's
We think that
also...
Blizzard are Tedobzor for creating these new tier 2s. Why must Blizzard ruin absolutely
Yeah,
everything?
this
I could
dickhead
do a better job.
Ford-
Just give me a
Ford's
copy
right.
of MS Paint in 20 minutes. We all know that's what Blizz uses. Lol 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 lol. It's obvious that Blizzard should listen to the community and not its own art directors on how new art should be created.
Oh.
The results would be far better. I mean, there's 4.5 million of us, and only 20 of them. So clearly, we would do a better job. Lol 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 lol. A bizarre turn of events indeed. So we turn to the experts. Famous fashion designer Calvin Clone found time in his busy mincing schedule to talk to us.
Fucking...
Oh yes, well, Blizzard's new range will clearly be this
Alliance.
season's must-have, darling. You can't be seen without
Right.
it. Oh no, that's what makes you a very bad person. Roth will be the hottest seller, with its ever so chic Power Ranger crossed with a blender looks very sharp. Indeed.
We ran for almost 20 minutes without looking back until we were sure that we'd escaped the clutches of this crazed madman. But the conclusion is clear. Tier 2 is here to stay, and anyone who disagrees with its super mega awesomeness will be taken away in
Well,
short.
there's one of them.
This reporter is going to put on his bright purple Dragonstalker set and then move unseen
Hey.
through the undergrowth as he hunts his prey.
Wallace of the
This has
Blind.
been Nubcake News. Good night.
And he has those dark ass glasses on. Bro, we gotta talk to him. That's hilarious.
Are you scared yet?
Why does he dismount?
You should be. No, I will never ever do that voice
stay
again
on.
in a million years. Don't bother asking.
Weird.
You listen to Blue Please here on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. I've got 10 minutes left of the show, and that's just enough time for the one and only Embassy
There's about a bunch of refugees, and we'll kill them.
of the week. Now, usually I have to look long and hard to find imbeciles of the week. Fortunately, we've actually found ourselves an imbecile of the year who seems to come up with the best posts ever. So I'm going to get you this post, and I'm going to read it out to you. Let's see if I can find it. Now, this is the guy on the EU forums that some of you may know as Replicant. It took him 3 months to get his epic mount. And he's a paladin. Yeah, you know, the one that you get a free epic mount on. Yeah, paladin's gonna come kill me now.
That spell isn't
Okay. Some of you hardcores need to try real life. You're ruining the game for the rest of us because you're 21 years old, or under 21 years old. You have a lot of free time on your hands. Your Uber achievements are making the game too inaccessible for the rest of us. I.e., you achieve something very good, but then Blizzard feels it has to give you something even harder. This makes all the good items get further and further out of the reach for the casuals like me. I remember people were reaching level 60 within 10 days when the game first came out. I'd be surprised. Also, because all of you hardcores are getting your Uber equipment, all the new instances that come out with the best gear are 40-man raids, further excluding us casuals again. Not to mention all the hardcores are owning PvP battlefields through your dizzying ranks, plus you get all the DKP points. You swamp the test servers because you can leave your PC on all night and even sit by it. Everything in this game is being ruined by people who play this game 10 hours or more a day. For God's sake, go out and go to nightclubs like I did when I was your age. Give some of us a chance. This game could survive without the hardcores, but not without the casuals. We are seeing less than 10% of the playing population getting monopoly on all the best gear. You invented DKP points just to tighten your grip on all the best drops too.
The wetlands. Okay.
Where do I start? Replicant's always good for coming up with total and complete crap.
Okay, down here.
And he's excelled himself this time. Right. So, the first thing he says, you achieve something very good, but then Blizzard feels it has to give you something even harder. What? So, what you're saying is that Blizzard... Is it Blizzard that's in the wrong, or is it the hardcore players? So, I'm not sort of following there. Is it Blizzard's fault for giving some people something else to do when they've run out of things to do? I cannot but notice that casuals always seem to complain about this. Zomg, all the new content is for hardcores. Yeah, but what you're not seeing is the fact that you haven't done all the content in the game yet, whereas hardcore, quote-unquote, gamers already have. So, the people who are going to leave the game are the people who don't have anything left to do. That's the reason you leave a game, because you're bored with it. Not because you're forced out by hardcore players. No, not at all. You're not being forced out by hardcore players. You just feel the need to compete. You feel the need to be the best, and you can't. You can't be the best because there's always a bigger fish. And if you can't accept that, then this is not the game for you.
Okay, well, we're right there.
All you hardcore players are getting Uber equipment. Really? Wow, that is astonishing. People who are playing the game more are getting better equipment. Wow. We'd better fix that right now. It's clearly a bug. You're owning PvP battlefields through your dizzying ranks. Eh? Hang on. Don't you have to own PvP battlegrounds to get dizzying ranks in the first place? How does that work? You get all the DKP points. Yeah, you get points for being there. Wow, that's crazy. Effort equals reward. Oh wow, you know, that's never a concept that's ever been introduced in real life or any kind of game. You know, that's crazy. I thought I could actually sit here, do nothing, and I would get everything just delivered to me on a silver platter. That would be great. I'd love that. No, I wouldn't, because that would be pointless.
Yep, here, go up there.
Everything in the game is being ruined by people who play this game 10 hours a day. That is everything, folks. Absolutely everything. So, quests are being ruined, instances are being ruined, battlegrounds are being ruined, open world PvP is being ruined, auction houses are being ruined. The ability to ride around and look at the scenery is being ruined by people who play this game 10 hours a day. Or so says Replicant. For God's sake, go out and go to nightclubs like I did when I was your age. I go to nightclubs, but I play a lot as well.
This way.
That's insanity, Batman. We can't possibly do that. Give some of us a chance. You've been given a chance. You were given a chance to get your epic mounts, and it took you 3 months to do it. You suck. You're a paladin. You get it off a lot easier than the rest of us.
There we go.
You tried to do the quest for 3 months.
Finally found the things I need to kill.
This game can survive without the hardcores, but not without the casuals.
Yeah, okay, I thought this was up here.
You seem to forget the hardcore players are the ones that drive people to achieve more. The race to beat instance bosses, and let's face it, that is one of the only big achievements you can have in this game, is pushed on by hardcore guilds and hardcore players. There is a place for both. And right at the end, just to add, we are seeing less than 10% of the playing population getting a monopoly on all the best gear. There's no monopoly, and you've just pulled that statistic out of your ass.
Well, yeah.
The icing on the cake of a terrible, terrible argument. Good timing on the background music.
It takes some getting used
Apparently
to.
we invented DKP points just to tighten our grip on all the best drops. No, invent DKP points because random rolling on epic items is a stupid idea.
Remembering that I bound pet attack.
How would you feel if you went on 20 raids, the app you wanted dropped, and then you lost it to someone who had done 1 raid? How is that fair, I ask you? Whinging, whining, crying your eyes out. Go and compose an emo album, you sorry excuse for a human being.
Nice.
You've been listening to Blue Please with myself, Total Biscuit. I won't be here next week. I'll be on a plane, and I certainly can't complain. What can I end with? I'm not going to end with Warriors of the World because we've played it too many times now and it's becoming cliche. And that would suck. Thank you for listening to my show. I will be on Ironforged on Tuesday, part of the Downtime Down Under. Check the schedule on our website for the rest of the shows. Ancient of Lore coming up on Monday. Check our archives if you haven't heard them already. This has been Blue Please. I've been Total Biscuit. This has been the Murloc.
Now I wonder. I don't think anyone's gonna have uploads of this podcast. Nope. Nope. Of course, Newt. Okay, we'll just let the playlist keep rolling. I don't think I can have that.
It's time to deal with some cultural issues. Now, what am I exactly talking about there? I'll tell you exactly what I'm talking about. It is America versus Europe, the big fight live. Yes, apparently this was a battle of some description. I wasn't entirely sure when that happened. I don't know, maybe it was like in World War IV, I think the Americans invaded Europe and conquered China, something like that. Yeah. Anyway, the point of the matter is this. The forums have been rife with this over the past couple of days. I believe the mods finally have it under control. However, it's an issue, because obviously this animosity does exist.
69, nice.
In some form or another. So, what's going on, why is it happening, and why the hell do we have to read this crap? Is the first topic of the day here on Blue Please with myself, Total Biscuit, here on the WoW Radio. It's not EverQuest Radio, so if you did tune into that, sorry. I'm afraid you will be disappointed. Right. Okay. Basic principle of the matter is this. Ever since we actually started playing, we are well aware of 2 things. All of us. The first thing is that you can't win without epics. And the second thing is that we are segregated. Europe and America, totally segregated. We can't play with each other unless we go out of our way to buy ourselves an American or a European copy and then log in and create an account on those servers. Myself with the European copy, I cannot play with the
down
Americans.
here.
The Americans with American copies cannot play with me. All that kind of thing. Now, the original argument was this a good idea to start with? It's not necessarily a usual thing, because many MMOs offer the ability to play with our continental friends, and offer our continental friends the ability to play with us. Is this a good thing?
Okay.
It can be a good thing, on the basis that it encourages people to make new friends who they may not necessarily meet in another environment. And when you are talking about MMO, massively multiplayer, you mean community. Community is the very essence
Yeah, we don't
of
need
an
to be
MMO.
here.
Without a community, an MMO might as well not exist. It's a big mess of grinding rubbish.
We'll leave.
Yes. Okay. Now,
Got what I needed here, at least.
We
Everything
can't
here
do
is
that.
fucking complete.
our communities are segregated. Americans are segregated from Europeans by the barrier. The invisible barrier that no one can see and probably has giant spiked kittens on top of it, ready to pounce on anyone that even endeavours to cross it. The barrier is there.
Okay.
We can't play with each other. Now, possible side effect of this is animosity between the two communities.
Oh, damn.
Because let's face it,
And
if I were to
maybe
insult an American on my
Google.
forums, the European forums,
Weak
that American
lily.
could not come and defend himself.
Why you scare me like that?
He couldn't log in. He would have to get himself a EU box just to post on our forums. Okay. Fair enough, maybe.
Okay,
However,
shadow bolts.
it encourages what I've been saying really for the past couple of weeks. And whenever I mention morons in the internet, I do tend to bring up this point that animosity and anonymity generates animosity. That's quite confusing. Slip of the tongue. Anonymity generates animosity. The reason for this is quite simple. It's the old e-thuggery parable.
Okay.
You're on the internet. No one knows who you are. No one knows where you live. No one knows if you're male or female, if you're 10 years old or 100.
Okay, shadow
No one
bolt
knows
six
about
up
your
to
strange
5
sexual
targets.
habits.
Oh, it's an AoE
Which is
shadow
great.
bolt.
A cloak of invisibility, and indeed a cloak of invincibility.
Interesting.
They can't stop you from saying what you want to say. No one
Don't
can.
need it, but interesting.
In real life, if they didn't like what you had to say, they could punch you in the throat. If you were to go up to someone in real life and insult them, they would hurt you. However, you can insult someone in real life and they won't hurt you.
Oh, right.
No, because they can't. They are incapable of physically damaging you in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, go find that bitch.
How very useful. That's great. Because that means I can insult people with impunity. Fantastic. Isn't that indeed what the internet was made for? Insulting people. Breaching cultural barriers. To insult them. To make yo mama jokes across thousands of miles. Truly an achievement of mankind. Now, we've seen it before, but recently we've had a big spate of this. Europe versus America. America versus Europe. World War
I have
VII.
a feeling I know
Hell we're
where the
supposed to be
bitch
fighting these
is.
days. So who's right? Who's in the wrong? Well, I've had the opportunity to read several threads from both sides. They're amazing arguments, and I've come to the conclusion that you all suck.
Ooh.
Yes, you do. Every one of you. I want to tell you this. This is a home truth.
Saw that though.
And this is in fact a worldwide truth. A universal truth.
That spell isn't ready.
The idea of being immortal crosses all cultural barriers. It crosses the idea of gender, sexuality, race. Every single group on the planet, no matter how big or small, no matter how totally alien or totally at home it seems to be, has idiots in it. They do, really. They are there. They are lurking in the shadows waiting for you. Just when you least expect it, you're walking down a dark alley, an idiot may pounce on you.
That's still recharging.
So, basically what we've got, we have idiots from America, we have idiots from Europe. The idiots are battling it out. Now, if this was in real life, if the idiots were battling it out, they would destroy each other, and we could all be happy. Unfortunately, the internet does not allow for that. They cannot die. They're like paladins. You can't kill them. And they certainly can't kill each other. So we have this insulting going backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. We have the Americans with their amazing, "We kicked your ass in World War II," or whatever. Well, no, you didn't. I'm English. I was your ally. Oh, we saved your ass in World War II then. No, you didn't. You made a good profit out of World War II, I'll tell you that. The one that came out of World War II, a very, very rich country. Whereas the rest of us were busy rebuilding our destroyed homes and all that kind of thing. And the Europeans say, Americans, they're all fat, stupid, slivering dogs, warmongering idiots. Have you actually been outside recently? Have you seen on our streets? There are plenty of big, fat, warmongering, slavering idiots, I can tell you that for a fact, just going to McDonald's. McDonald's is an American thing. No, it isn't. It's all over here. We eat there too. Oddly enough, McDonald's is pretty much in every single country on the planet. Oddly enough, Europeans have fat people as well. That's astounding. That's amazing. You know, I thought being fat, being obese was just an American thing, but apparently I was wrong. Guys, this is pointless.
Okay.
If any of you involved in that particular quote discussion unquote were actually listening to this archive or this show, you're an idiot! You are stupid because you got yourself involved in pointless stereotyping mudslinging. And it sucks.
Take you down real quick.
What kind of a community do you call that? An online community where we all play the same game. We obviously all love the same game. We share the same hobby, and yet we can't get along. It's a simple matter of growing up. I don't even want to know the age of these people, but it wouldn't actually surprise me if the age of the people involved in this particular debacle, yes, that is a word, varies from, say, 12 to 60. No doubt we've got every colour, every creed, every race involved in this.
Are we fucking good?
Gender confused.
Christ.
They're all here. They're all battling it out in some pointless internet headbutting contest, which no one will ever possibly win.
God damn.
Animosity. Anonymity. Connected inextricably. Long words for the win. Now, quite frankly, I would have to say to the moderators, the community managers of Blizzard, that they need to clamp down on this kind of crap. Locking the threads is not enough. It's blatant racism on both sides. If I slag off Americans, I am being racist. If Americans slag off me, they are being racist. Europeans, Americans, Chinese, doesn't matter. It's racist. It's quite simple. It's complete and total intolerant bollocks. So, if I were to go on and say I hate black people, for instance, I do not hate black people, disclaimer before you even say anything, it's an example, you fools. If I went on the forums and said that, I would be banned instantly, and you know it. If I go on the forums and say I don't like Americans, the worst that will happen is that my post may get deleted or my thread gets locked. We saw it earlier. I've been looking on the European forums, and all at once, 6 or 7 threads along this line were locked. The people were not banned, the threads were not deleted, they were locked. They still exist. The fact is they can still be read, and the stupidity can still be spread. I would urge Blizzard and the community managers to take a more proactive stance on this crap. It goes further than the forums, you see it in game. Some servers have this kind of animosity between nationalities.
Oh, hey, you're back.
I've seen many threads and many complaints. Oh, I hate the Spanish people, they're all bastards. Or I hate the Germans. Or whatever. Well, isn't that a tad pointless? At the end of the day, these people are players just like you and me. We play the same game. we have the same hobby, and the chances are that as such we share the same interests. Doesn't matter where we go. It's totally irrelevant.
Maybe hiding away in the barn?
And yet this is allowed to continue. If I were Blizzard right now, if I were community manager, I would be saying this. I would be saying, if you say anything like that again, I will ban you from the game. I'm not going to let you play because we do not tolerate intolerance. And intolerance of intolerance is the way to go. So, let's get some comments.
Well. Okay, well. This is why I record separately as well. I guess Cox wants to be like that. Actually, let's find the app. We'll see what they actually say very quickly. Probably just going to end up just ending stream right here because I'm not connected to the internet. And officially it stopped on Twitch. Servers are down for maintenance. Wow. Great. I'm being maintenized. So, yeah. I'm gonna just call it there. Yeah, there's maintenance in your area. Estimated repair time. Repair time 6 in the morning. Okay, that's it for the stream, everybody. So, yeah, thanks for watching. I had fun. Come back tomorrow when we find my corpse. We wake up in the graveyard and wonder why it's not a new Bugatti. So, yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy, stay golden. See y'all next time. Bye. Fuck Cox.